What's going on right now?
Right now, you got a city riot going on because once again, the police has failed to protect us like they say they was going to do. They failed to be here for the people like they say they sworn in to do. You know, and us as a community, we're not going to protect ourselves. But if we don't have anyone to protect us, then this is what you get.
Yes, and that's exactly what happened last Saturday. On August 13th, around 3:30 p.m., two men fled from the police on foot from what can only be described as a routine traffic stop. After one of the men pointed a loaded firearm at them, the police officers had no choice but to open fire, hitting 23-year-old Seville Smith in the arm and chest, ultimately killing him. What happened over the next 24 to 48 hours was just sad and disappointing. Black Lives Matter and other protesters rioted throughout the city of Milwaukee, burning businesses, torching cars, looting stores, assaulting white citizens, and even firing weapons at first responders and firefighters. The rioters cried and deployed the racism of the police and the injustice of the system. There's only one small flaw in their thinking, however. Seville Smith, who is black, was shot by a black police officer. Milwaukee is a city of almost 600,000 people, 40% of which are black and 44% of which are white. In 2014, Milwaukee had a murder rate of 15 per 100,000, a rape rate of 65.8 per 100,000, an assault rate of 809.3 per 100,000, and an auto theft rate of 1,108.1 per 100,000. Overall, crime in the city of Milwaukee is at a rate of 695.8 per 100,000, 240 times higher than the national average. And shamefully, thanks to the protests, these numbers are going to go up. During the riots, the rioters could be heard chanting "Kill Whitey," "Fuck the police," and "Black Power." Here's a couple clips of the riots.
Look, they helped. Look, they finna go help them break that motherfucker. They broke that motherfucker. They broke that motherfucker. They just broke it. They just broke it. Yeah, they can't lift that motherfucker. They can't lift that. Oh! Oh! They out here breaking. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Teamwork. 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 Look at them. Look at them. Teamwork. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Teamwork. Teamwork. Teamwork.
There are even accounts that white reporters that were trying to report the riots were being assaulted and accosted by the protesters. What has brought us to this point? How did we get here? I find myself asking this question over and over and over. Is America such a racist country that blacks have no alternative but to riot and destroy their own communities? No, I think we know a little better than that, but few are willing to say what is the true issue. I, for one, have no issue speaking the truth. The issue is that we are facing an infantilization of a generation. Sadly, the group of people that are facing this infantilization is the black community mostly. We have replaced the family, and more specifically, the father, with the government. Food is provided in the form of food stamps, housing in the form of vouchers, phones are given for free, income is supplemented by the government. And by some accounts, 40+% of Americans rely on government to survive. We are well on our way to creating a cradle-to-grave society. According to the Huffington Post, of the total number of people receiving SNAPs, better known as food stamps, 40.2% were white and 25.7% were black. At first glance at this statistic, it might not seem like the black community is doing so bad, but when you compare it to their percentage of population, things come into a little bit more focus. The population of America is about 63% white and about 12.3% black. Whites are 23 points under their percentage of population, while blacks are more than double theirs. Why? What makes this happen? Well, the answer is a little easier than you might think. Since about 1965, the Democratic Party has been buying votes with subsidies. They have offered more and more government benefits to low-income and undereducated people. These benefits have created a recursive cycle, keeping them trapped in poverty. Although it might sound noble and egalitarian to offer assistance to the needy, what has actually happened through these programs, the Democratic Party has created a dependent voter base that will never vote food off their tables. And the saddest part is, the Democratic Party knows this, and they're perfectly fine with being the party of handouts and free stuff. But there is no free lunch. Benjamin Franklin once said, "When the people find they can vote themselves money, that will herald the end of the republic." We must learn a different way. Perhaps looking even further into the past will tell us something. There's an old Chinese proverb, "Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." Milwaukee is just a microcosm of what is happening to our country. We are encouraging a lifestyle that is not independent, that is not self-reliant, that is not self-sustaining. And as a society on a whole, we are starting to feel it and show it. We must take back our freedoms. We must become more self-reliant. Only through being self-reliant can we, and more specifically the Black community, break the cycle of dependency and begin to climb out of the hole. We must hold ourselves and our society to a very high standard. That standard should be self-reliance and self-determination. The philosophy to live by is actually pretty well summed up by Anne DeFranco. I don't need anyone to hold me. I can hold my own. If you like this video, please consider subscribing or send us a message on Facebook. We will be updating regularly.